Pardon me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the graduation ceremony for Shanghai American School, Pudong class of 2019 here in the Dagwon Theater in the Himalaya Center. Before we begin this morning's program, I would make the following requests. Please turn off your cell phones completely. Please do not block the aisles to take photographs. A professional photographer will be taking digital pictures, and these will be available to seniors all week. You are welcome to videotape, but from your seat only. A professional videographer and live streaming will be taping the ceremony, and DVDs will be available next week or the week after. The video will be available to all seniors online and through DVD if they so wish. As always, with any event of this kind, many individuals were involved, and we would like to thank at least some of them. We would be remiss in not thanking the management and staff of the Dagwon Theater and the SAS Theater and Technology staff from both campuses, who have worked together to support both the Pudong and the Puxi graduation, which will be held here this afternoon. Special thanks to Miss Jenny Shin from Jenny's Flowers for the beautiful arrangements and all the flowers you will see here today. We would like to thank the many senior parents who worked so hard to support us in this graduation and throughout the year in so many ways. From the preparation of the senior gifts, to arranging for awards, to all the other details that went into preparing for this day, many parents have been hard at work helping to make today's celebration special. Thank you to the parents of juniors who have helped our students get ready backstage today. A number of others have been part of our SAS team, our always faithful assistants and translators, Sylvia Shen and Vicky Huang, our faculty marshal, Jeff Malone, our PAC director, Mr. David Chapman, and our tech staff, Amox Freco, Hodi Zachariah, Jacob Chen, and Shane Cheng, whose work in preparing for this event has been immeasurable. Thank you. I also wish to thank Ms. Lucy Chen, who has done an amazing job coordinating contracts and logistics between the two campuses. At the end of our program today, our seniors will exit first, followed by the high school faculty. As they do so, I would ask that you would stand in honor of our graduates and remain at your seats until they and the faculty have completely left the auditorium. After their exit, please follow them out to the lobby. Seniors have asked me to request that you stay a while and enjoy their company this last time together. There will be areas set up with backdrops for formal family photos should you wish to use them. As our seniors enter, you will notice a variety of sashes, pins, and other accoutrements. Gold sashes symbolize membership in National Honor Society. Silver medals indicate full IB diploma graduates. A rainbow-colored cord designates a member of the National Art Honor Society. A pink cord represents members of our Tri-M Music Honor Society. Again, this year, SAS recognizes the academic success of our seniors. No other senior class in the history of Pudong has had as high a cumulative GPA as this class. All seniors who have earned a GPA between 3.75 and 3.89 are designated as graduating magna cum laude with great praise and are included in our program with a single star and are wearing a red pin. Those with a final GPA of 3.9 to 4.0 are designated as graduating summa cum laude with greatest praise. They are indicated by a double star in the program and are wearing a blue lapel pin. These two groups selected from their ranks the valedictory speaker of Mr. Lyndon Lee. And now, at this time, I ask you to please welcome our high school faculty with a round of applause. And now I ask that you, once again, apologies, welcome and stand to honor our 124 Shanghai American School Pudong graduates, class of 2019. And now I wish to welcome Dr. Benjamin Lee to the stage.
Mr. Starda, members of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Gauthier, Dr. Bonin, Ms. Sergeant Beasley, parents, alumni, faculty, students, and SAS Pudong class of 2019. What a wonderful occasion it is for us to come together today to celebrate one last time, as a community, Shanghai American School Pudong class of 2019. At the very start of our ceremony this morning, I need to pause for a moment in solemnity to remind us that this human existence is never unmixed, and that even in the midst of joy, we may experience sorrow. This is neither good nor bad, it simply is. The SAS Pudong class of 2019, even as it will shortly, delightedly, mark the transition from high school students to graduates, carries with it a sadness which it is appropriate that we pause now to recognize. By rights, the 124-member senior class on stage today should number 125. Tragically, one of our students, our classmates, our friends, Lawrence Zhao, passed away in January of 2018. Lawrence is not here physically with us today, but I ask that at this point in our proceedings, before we move into our full-throated salute to our graduating students, I ask that we pause and honor Lawrence Zhao and his memory with a moment of silence. Thank you. Even as we remember Lawrence, it is possible, right, and proper that we turn to his friends and classmates sitting behind me on the stage and hold them up for recognition. Seniors, today you are graduating as individuals, but you are also graduating as a group, as the SAS class of 2019, 124 soon-to-be alums of SAS. Among you are students who have been stable in your attendance at SAS Pudong for many years throughout middle and high school, and in some cases elementary school. We also have students who arrived at the start of high school and students who have only been with us for this 1 year. So let's take a look at the class of 2019. What a good-looking bunch of people. Joining us in the 12th grade, here they are in order of arrival at our school. And joining us in the 12th grade were two students, Lami and Daniel. In the 11th grade, joining us were Graham and Mark and Mindian, Jasmine, Devin, David, Stephen, Ryan, Marcus, Stanley, Evelyn, Edward, Sophie, and Wanyong. In the 10th graders, we were joined by Brenneman, Joey, Victor, Michael, Ibby, Charles, Kevin, James, Jordan, Jiwon, Lily, Christopher, Samantha, Jeremy, Kelvin, Fabio, Alec, Naomi, and Amber. In the 9th grade, joining us were Sonova and Hanwen, Jade and Ocean, Chelsea, Rebecca, Beverly, Colin, Owen, Jason, Brian, Danny, Hojin, Kenneth, Caitlin, Grace, Archana, Aaron, Andrew, Lucas, Michael, Lori, Seon, and Jill. This is the group that came to us at some point during high school. We did have some students who started with us in middle school, and they include, in the 8th grade, Tiffany and Andrew, Charles, Grace, Angie, Kiki, Sean, Jeffrey, Sonia, Eric, Jeff, Abigail, Daniel, Jason, Jinha, Jiho, Suhyuk, and Hong. In grade 7, Will, Katie, Anson, Kristen, Chanmin, Paul, Jeffrey, Aniketh, Junghu, Donna, Max, Sean, Tommy, Minjun, Sophia, and Evan. The earliest group to join us in middle school was the grade 6 enterers, Jenny, Noam, Shireen, Andrew, Brent, Youngkae, Jessica, Jungha, and Audrey. So this is the group that came in middle school or high school, and they are the lucky ones who do not have to suffer through the embarrassment of what comes next when I show you their current picture together with their picture in the yearbook of the grade they entered. In 4th grade, we had only one student join us, and it was Isaac. Oh, sorry, we're in grade 5. My mistake. We have a bunch of students who came in grade 5. Chloe, Lyndon, Adina, Isabel, Sabrina, Junsu, Christabella, William, and Michelle. In grade 4, there really was only one student, and it was Isaac. In grade 3, we had 2, Johanatan and Max. Coming to us in grade 2 were Cynthia and Andrew, Gordon, and Alex. In grade 1, 2 students joined us, and they were Kelly and Eli. And then in kindergarten, we had 2 students who joined us, and one of them has the, I think, noteworthy distinction of never having missed the bus, ever. That would be Rena, and she was joined by Carlos. And our last 2, one who joined in pre-K 4, Hannah Power. And the champion who joined in pre-K 3, Mimi Guo. In fact, over 70% of this year's graduates were at SAS for all 4 years of high school, and over a quarter were at SAS for the 7 years of middle school and high school. When you add in our newest arrivals, Daniel and Lami, those who came in elementary, and our longevity champions, Hannah Power and Mimi Guo, we have the 124 members of the class of 2019. Of course, students are not the only people in schools, and while it is our 124 graduates we celebrate today, we also know that it is our faculty whose dedication, hard work, expertise, and devotion to their vocation and to our students made possible the educational successes and the future opportunities for the students on stage today. Class of 2019, would you join me, please, in giving a round of grateful applause to your faculty? Teachers, like students, do need to move on sometimes, and this year we bid farewell to 11 teachers, as well as to our 2 vice principals, Kate Price and Justin Wild. Among the departing faculty are Tim Boyer, David Chapman, Robert Espinal, Josh Hatt, Debbie Huang, Oliver Yock, Matt Casper, Joan Luth, Chris Mangus, Robin Pettigrew, again, second time for her, and Jamie Young. I know you will all join me in thanking these outstanding faculty members for their service and in offering our best wishes for their next adventures. There is another group of people here today to whom we all owe tremendous gratitude: parents. Ultimately, it is parents who made it possible for this outstanding faculty to work with these outstanding students. So seniors, we will all be clapping for you again shortly. Please join me now in applauding your parents. The role of parent is among the most challenging that humans can undertake, and it is richly deserving of applause. It is, however, at least partially insulated from one of the psychological challenges that I expect many of our new graduates will experience as they matriculate to the best colleges and universities around the world. I'm talking about impostor syndrome. Now, impostor syndrome is the way that sometimes you may feel that you got to where you are through some big mistake. Like you're not actually supposed to be up on stage right now. In fact, you lost the competition that led to this moment. You were the runner-up, not the champion. Or maybe you didn't even compete in the original match, but you just have the same name as the winner. And now here you are with thousands of people waiting and eager for your performance, but you don't actually perform. You can't perform. You don't even play piano at all. And yet here you are with the banner on the stage behind you proclaiming that this is the International Piano Solo Competition. Parenting isn't like that, or at least not in my experience, because even though I often felt unqualified as a father, like I didn't know what I was doing as a parent, I could never deny that my kids were my kids and that I was going to have to deal with whatever was the situation that had come up. But in college, seniors, you will, if you are at all like me, you will have several occasions where you'll think, gosh, I'm not the right person to be here. I don't belong here. I'm not good enough to be here. It was a mistake to send the acceptance letter to me. It should have gone to some other guy named Ben Lee. Since I'm pretty sure you're going to have this feeling at some point, at least a couple of times over the next couple of years, I'd like to offer you two truths about it to take with you. First, you are good enough. You are the right person. You are where you should be. You did all fulfill the requirements. You will all shortly receive your SAS diplomas, and you will be going to college. Second, humans have strange and untrue thoughts sometimes, and you shouldn't be too worried by them. Don't give them too much time or attention. Just let them dissolve on their own. What I've noticed about imposter syndrome, having experienced it multiple times, is that when you look into it, it is without a solid core. It's a collection of attitudes and feelings which usually, upon inquiry, dissolve. Dissolve, and I do mean dissolve, as opposed to solve. This is one of those things, and there are many like this, which do not admit of solution. You cannot solve it, but you can become one with it, dissolve it as you dissolve into it, and maybe even get comfortable with it. So please remember, and please take these with you. First, you are good enough. You are the right person. You are where you should be. And second, humans have strange and untrue thoughts sometimes. Don't be too worried by them. Don't give them too much time or attention. Just let them dissolve on their own. Thank you, class of 2019, for your inspiring and joyful presence. It has been our privilege to share our school with you these past years. It's now my honor to introduce our head of school, Marcel Gauthier.
Good morning, and welcome parents, extended family, honored guests, alumni, faculty and staff, trustees, and of course, our students to the graduation ceremony of the SAS Pudong class of 2019. Seniors and your families, I hope these final weeks have been ones of celebration and joy. and perhaps also some mixed feelings. For many of you, SAS has been home. A moment of change and opportunity is at hand. As you look ahead, I would like to ask that you carry with you just a few invitations for reflection. My first invitation is this: truth is a volatile substance. Treat it with the respect and care it deserves. We currently have inherited a world where anyone's version of the truth can reach and affect thousands, perhaps millions of people in a moment. Now that is power. However, it's ironic that in this world that it's often the least truthful truth that carries the most sway. You will encounter those who wish to tell you exactly what you wish to hear. You will encounter those who wish to sell you a version of the truth that is more about their own need for attention than truth itself. And you will yourself face moments of challenge where you will have to decide how truthful you are going to be, whether the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so to speak, is in fact your personal currency and bond. Treat truth, please, with the consideration that it deserves. Left in a closet or tossed around with abandon, it can become radioactive. My second invitation is this: spare your words. We are awash in fountains of self-expression. Tweets and posts and blogs and Instagrams and whatnot follow seekers and followers. Decide that your words, each of them, have value and they matter. Whether you know it or not, they create you for yourself and for others. And they create the world of which we're a part. Like truth itself, see words as a tool of your personal currency and bond. Use them with thoughtfulness, sensitivity, and care. Let them create for others the kind of person you aspire to be. My final invitation is this: cross boundaries. Today, the world seems to be in a pattern of creating boundaries. We see nations around the world experiencing periods of nationalism, isolationism, ethnic division, and a retreat from the global stage, where failure to act together to address poverty or illness or pollution or the economy or even hatred itself merely postpones the inevitable need to address the problems we've created. Please devote your lives to crossing borders, creating connections, inviting mutual respect and understanding, uniting others to address with courage and determination the hard challenges, for they will not go away on their own. Members of the class of 2019, all of us here today, teachers and family and friends, gather with pride for your graduation from Shanghai American School, not because it's the end of the journey, but because it is the beginning. You are lifelong learners. You understand the value of compassion and integrity, and you know it takes courage to act on your dreams. And we all know you will. Thank you.
Every year, from the entire senior class, one student is elected to be the senior class speaker, and this year the honor went to Mr. Devin Murchandani. Devin, please come forward.
my fellow students, faculty members, parents, families, and friends. You probably shouldn't record this. Before I start, I'd like to give a layout of all the variables potentially at my disposal. I was told I could speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. Furthermore, I have access to the projector as well as the surround sound system for any visual and/or audio stimulus. Some of you have very high expectations for this speech. Some of you have very low expectations. For the sake of compromise, I shall keep it as mediocre as possible. And thus we begin. Failure. Let's talk about it. A prevalent and juggernaut force that affects everyone in all sorts of ways. Every student here has felt failure in one way or another. I consider myself a spokesperson for failure, and I believe it is my job, if not my duty, to elaborate on the types of failure one can achieve. Firstly, there is failure in truth. People lie. It's a natural habit of a human. People get lied to. Unfortunate, but also prevalent. I recall someone telling me that rugby was going to be fun and safe, and that we would win a game. Failure in truth. Someone had also once told me that Miss Dixon had a decent sense of humor. I'm just kidding, nobody ever said that. Failure in truth. Secondly, there's failure in intuition. Poor judgment. That's right, I'm talking about bad choices. If you have ever heard the phrase, "Jin Chao amigos," I'm sure you can understand what I mean when I say that a good portion of us have participated in suspicious leisurely activities. This can often lead to less than desirable consequences. Poor judgment. I know somebody who joined baseball thinking they were joining a sport. Oh, that didn't land. Poor judgment there. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, failure in ability. This one hurts the most. We have all been in a situation where we have put a mountain of effort into a task and still received a product of lower quality than expected. Even more, sometimes we just make mistakes. We've all been there. A tough test, a lost game, a rejected promposal, Stephen Shee, missing the bus, getting cut from a preseason of a sport, Edward Chung, failing a dictation, losing an AirPod, missing a penalty, prom this year and last year, no offense, and the list goes on. Yet here we are. Not to get corny on you all, but shucks, we're about to graduate. The truth is, we're probably not going to be seeing one another for a long time. You'll be carrying these failures with yourself for even longer. And I'll tell you what, that's just fine. Failure is a part of you, and it reminds me of Miss Barini when I don't complete one of my college tasks. Failure will seek you out, and you cannot escape it. Even when you think you're safe, carefree, it will come. But you wouldn't be nearly as successful as you are today without it. I know many of you expected something crazy and perhaps inappropriate from me, but this is what I wanted to say, and I thank you all for listening. Have a nice day.
Every year, from the pool of seniors who are awarded the magna cum laude and summa cum laude status, one student is elected to be the valedictory speaker. And this year, that honor went to Mr. Lyndon Lee. Lyndon, please come forward.
Good morning to all guests, parents, students, teachers, and administrators. Since I was informed that I'd be delivering this address just over a month ago, I realized just how weird this speech was going to be. The class with record highs on their collective academic achievements chose me. a reject of our school's elite chapter of the National Honor Society, as their valedictorian. But I guess even the best of us will make mistakes sometimes. We were told that we were one of the most unique group of students this school has ever seen. To people outside of our small group, we're unique in a bad way. It's telling that most of us here on stage were born in the year of the snake, because teachers in other grades thought of us as some really smart snakes. We were ruthlessly competitive and unhealthily obsessed with our report cards. Well, first of all, I don't blame them, because not gonna lie, we're pretty damn smart. Ryan Strong will ruin the morale of his poor opponents by powering a quiz bowl question after only hearing 10 words. Jenny Back and the Kims, with their Red Bull energy, are always manning their 24-hour helpline to recite the Marx Kim of your 27-point probability question at 3:49 a.m. in the morning. And most impressively, Jason engineered a backdoor into MIT's AdNet website and found his way into the Chinese college press. So he's basically in now. The unfortunate reality is that high school legacies are usually distilled into numbers on paper. But we're all so much more than the grade point averages and standardized test scores in the school report. Everyone sitting on this stage has an unbelievable amount of heart, passion, and spirit that drive the pursuit of what we love and form the basis of the love that we all have for each other. To put it in the words of Liverpool's coach Jurgen Klopp, with a little bit of censorship in Isaac Shoe fashion, our grade is made of fudging giants. We are a group of athletes who leave everything on the field. Ibby's glare and dominating presence has ruined the careers of aspiring basketball players at Concordia. Soph caught the eye of freshman boys as they stared at her catch pop flies. And Minjun ended his junior soccer season averaging a school record of 1 ejection and 1 ambulance per game. We are the dankest meme lords, inspiring all schools around Shanghai to compete with us on Instagram. But they can never beat at Only at SAS, at Pudong Memes with Spine, at Shanghai School Memes, or the millions of other accounts that constantly remind you of just how bad your GPA actually is. And we are the most passionate group of people you've ever seen. An aspiring lawyer will cancel that 500-word formative extended essay practice by reporting innocent Mrs. Pettigrew for an alleged violation of the sacred student handbook. An aspiring programmer will kill a python with a computer, and visiting teams will blame their losses on the fans who shouted, "Good eye," every time a poor ISB batter mistimed her swing. We supported each other during these moments. The class of 2019 always seemed competitive on the outside, but there were never any hard feelings. It was always an unspoken bond of kinship, inclusive of everyone from all different corners of the world. Our minds probably shut down around 3 months ago in March, but today is supposed to mark the official end to high school and the beginning of some next chapter in our lives that we can't spoil for each other. I don't see myself as in any position to provide advice, but instead, I think we can take pointers from ourselves moving on forward. So first of all, I want to begin with a story that commemorates our school's most legendary sports team, the Pudong boys rugby team, then captained by some of our guys here on stage. They didn't start their season off so hot. The Pushi boys beat them like a boy in a light blue t-shirt jumping off a table into a shattered tiled floor. They tried to improve, but ended up losing most of their games this season. Eventually, accepting our criticism, they ended their season by shocking us all and beating Pushi. In spite of our successes, we'll probably be running into failures on a scale much larger than sports losses. Embrace that failure no matter how big it is, learn from it, and the largest victories will end up emerging at the end. Second of all, remember these past 4 years when we dispersed to go to exciting places all around the world. For some of us, this might be the first time that you enter a community where the vast majority of the student body will not be Asian. You might not be able to get hopelessly addicted to Wangzhe Rongyao in the comments, screaming Chinese swear words that you know your principals won't understand as you play. Noam might not be accepted for running shirtless on the hot streets of Europe. And you probably can't jaywalk across Tongrenlu 88号when you're late for your date at Latina because the stop signs actually mean something. You'll be asked that one question third culture kids hate most. If you're from Shanghai, why is your English so good? And facing cultures that might be less inclusive and understanding than ours. For others, being branded as from China often carries with it an air of mystery that seems to make you foreign to other people. Never forget that unspoken relationship of understanding that we have as international school kids. The luxury of being in a class of just over 120 students where you know everyone intimately, or the experiences that you've had here in Shanghai, because they'll most likely be gone for a while. Finally, we come from an area that's often branded as the middle of nowhere. We don't have a fancy mall across the street and don't have access to the privilege of after-school buses on Wednesday. It's often easy to overlook the surrounding environment that distinguishes our school from almost every other international school in Shanghai, those that were built in the middle of the city center or in the areas of Pudong populated by expats. Our location is one that disillusions us from the false story of riches in this world, and it grounds us down to earth. And remembering those experiences gives us a sense of humility that drives us to solve the human-level issues of inequality that will end up mattering most to our generation. Make a difference in people's lives as so many people on this stage have done. From teaching English in local schools nearby to creating a platform to help high school girls find internships. And it doesn't have to shatter the earth with how profound or earth-shattering it actually is. Most importantly, make sure you're loving what it is that you do, whether it be singing, coding, or taping slippers onto Adidas Boost cushions and wearing them to school. We may all have these positive and unforgettable memories of high school, but it is inevitable that there were regrets too. Maybe it was choosing the IB diploma, only to stare at the clock waiting for IB core to be open, or not joining your friend Max Wilmot on a mysteriously long bathroom break from AP World to pass the time. The people around you will socialize you down a road that might not be the best for you, and staring at the clock no longer becomes 80 minutes of class, but instead a longer period of time. Now, if that's too stressful to think about, the mindfulness coach that we know, Dave Mokel, recommends that you close your eyes, jump into a cold shower, and vigorously dragon breathe while you realize that life is just a big illusion. Class of 2019, we made it. But we didn't make it alone. We made it on the shoulders of giants. Giants even fudging greater than ourselves. So first of all, thank you counselors, teachers, secretaries, administrators, and everyone who worked behind the scenes to make these the 4 years that they have been. Thank you for accepting our college planning forums and extended essays when they were around 5 months late, for almost always having your classroom doors open to help and talk to us, and for unconditionally supporting us through all that we've been through, both in and outside of the classroom. We'll always be grateful for square root curves, double square root curves, and the contagious passion that you all share for what you do. Thank you to family and friends for being here today, or tuning in on the live stream for supporting us today. We love you for always being on our side, for pushing us when we didn't push ourselves, never giving up on us when we were emotional, and being our mentors, guiding our way through this tough but enjoyable phase of our lives. We might be leaving now, but I can assure you that most people on the stage can promise that we'll call home. Most of all, thank you, class of 2019. We made it together through Dr. Lee's community meeting speeches about our buildings, around Miss Price in her cowboy hat, telling us buckaroos to slow down, but eventually making it past her, only to find out that the middle schoolers already stole our food. And now, finally, across the stage to hold a piece of paper that's supposed to mark the end. Tomorrow morning when we're together, watching the sun rise over the Bund, it might hit you that this is the last time we'll all be together in the same place as the same group of people. But deep down, no matter where we are, we'll always be that same group of eagles. From those that walked into school on the first day of freshman year, girls dressed in skirts down to their knees, and guys flexing their oversized CISA t-shirts, fearless for the challenge of high school, to the people that we are now, excited and ready to take anything that's thrown our way. Congratulations once again to the class of 2019. Thank you all.
I would now like to welcome Miss Grace Deng and Miss Grace Tan to the front to introduce our faculty speaker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Grace Deng.
And I'm Grace Tan,
We are here to introduce Mr. Harris.
who, according to himself, is the spitting image of George Clooney and the Lord Protector of the English language.
But first, some life lessons from Mr. Harris. Don't get fired. You have a mortgage to pay.
If you're leaving town, propose to your girlfriend in a subway station.
And if you gather enough life stories, for example, meeting and falling in love with David Bowie,
Or pointing a finger gun at Bill Clinton,
or meeting the President of Colombia in your underwear,
you might become a sardonic English teacher with a heart of gold under an all-black exterior.
so without further ado, Mr. Harris.
Good morning. Being that grumpy English teacher at the end of the English corridor, I'm somewhat honored, flattered, and a little surprised to have been asked to speak at this occasion. Firstly, students here on the stage, I want to congratulate you all. You've been evaluated in the fields of maths, science, the social sciences, Mandarin, Spanish, English, community service, one or two of you even in French. And you've all most certainly not been found wanting. This morning is a way for the school and the community to recognize and celebrate the choices and sacrifices you have made over these years at Shanghai American School. I have thought long and hard about just exactly what I would say this morning. Being a South African of a particular era and a particular socioeconomic status, witnessing how people created groups and subgroups based on wealth and color to justify their right to access particular privileges or deny them to others, helped me develop an intense fear of anything or institution that symbolizes or resembles a form of elitism. To some extent, Shanghai American School is one of those institutions that could quite easily fall into that category. I firmly see it as our and your duty not to let this be so. Shanghai American School, ever since I started working here 9 years ago, has always represented a roadmap to making the world a better place. I believe that what should make you and your parents the most proud today is not the actual honor of graduating or what you had to do to graduate, but what your graduation coupled with your ingenuity can achieve in the future. What I mean is graduating is not an alpha or omega. It most certainly is not the end of the show, the curtain has not fallen, and most definitely the credits are not rolling, not by a long shot. I want to relay two small little family anecdotes. Back in my day in South Africa, out of my whole family, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, and parents, I was the first, and actually I am still the only one to have gone to university. So there I was 28 years ago, my military father and I on the steps of Cape Town University, nestled on the side of Table Mountain on the southernmost tip of Africa, the whole city spread out before us, the sun sinking into the Atlantic Ocean, and the lights of the city slowly flickering on, a grander backdrop you could not have asked for. It was within this setting that my father looked at me with pride and half asked, half said, "Son, I'm impressed. Impressed, you did it. You graduated. What can you do now?" I remember looking back at him and replying, "Well, Dad, not that much." As I had studied English and ancient Islamic and Judaic studies and mentioning my grand plan of entering the priesthood to my military father just was not on the cards at the time. Even in South Africa, way back in 1991, an undergraduate degree had started to lose its shine. Years later, in the hope of updating my now dated education, I received a scholarship to study a postgraduate at the University College London. Yet bachelor's, master's, PhDs are all hoops we jump through in the hope of pushing us up that career ladder, hoping to open doors to potential success. With more people than ever before on this planet obtaining degrees each year, a university education is fast becoming to ascent. I'm by no means advocating throwing in the towel and taking up landscape gardening or joining a bonsai hippie growing retreat. No, not at all. What I am asking you, though, is what is it that does set you apart from the multitudes that you will soon be joining in academia and in the near future, the workplace? I want you to think about that for a second. What is it actually, exactly, that makes you different? In the spring of 1997, I was living in London, England. The Labour Party under Tony Blair had just come to power after 16 years of conservative right-wing rule. The very air in England smelled of change and hope. It felt a good time to be alive. Yet in the middle of all this, my father called me from South Africa and told me to get on the first plane back to Cape Town if I wanted to see my mother, as she was terminally ill. This came as a shock. I had no idea that she had been gravely ill for the past year. I had not been back to South Africa for almost 6 years. Although I had always believed that my mother and I had been close, she had not let on to me that in the years since I had left, she had been continually in and out of hospital. Needless to say, I jumped on the first available plane and spent 3 months at her side until she finally just could not go on. Between my father and I, we made the arrangement, church, priests, the advert in the newspaper, relaying the time and place of the service. My family, by South African standards, is a small one. Father, brother, and grandmother, aunt, uncle, and 2 cousins. It was a bright autumn afternoon in South Africa when my father, uncle, brother, and I walked into the church. I remember thinking that maybe a service in the sun would have been more fitting than a gloomy Catholic church, but I was so wrong. Because as I walked through those massive wooden doors, depressed at the coldness of it all, I was struck speechless. The church was full. In fact, there was not even enough seats. People were leaning against the back wall, white people, black people, mixed-race people. It was like I'd walked onto a film set for an advert for the United Colors of Benetton. I did not know any of these people. In fact, I was a little concerned I'd even walked into the right church. I took my place at the front of the church, and at the end of the service, one stranger after the next came up to me, white, black, mixed race, and passed their condolences on to me and relayed to me what a great person my mother had been. I was stunned. My aunt drew me aside and sat me down. My mother, for the last 10 years, had been volunteering for an organization that worked in the African townships on the outskirts of Cape Town. Her organization had distributed clothes within the informal settlements, the shanty towns. My aunt had been the only one that had known the extent of my mother's involvement. Not my military father, nor my uncle or brother. This is the way my mother had wanted it. She wanted to help, to do the right thing, to put back what she firmly believed she had to make the world a more equal place. It is strange for me sometimes to think of her, a white, 50-year-old woman out there in the South African black townships at the height of apartheid South Africa, just doing her thing. She sought no praise nor recognition. She did what she felt was needed, what was right. She did it quietly. I want all of you that are sitting on this stage today to realize just what an honor this morning is, and yet to understand that honor does not come without a price. Although Shanghai American School is a world away from the poverty and the violence of apartheid South Africa, you are here today, not because you have achieved a good GPA, not only because you have put the prescribed number of community service hours on your resume, not because you have led a club or have been outwardly polite to your peers and teachers, but because we, your teachers, your parents and family, believe you have the character and integrity to make a difference. I leave you with a challenge, as my generation and the generation before me have been quite seriously the worst custodians the planet has ever seen, be it environmentally or socially. Live the change. Be the change. Do not fall into the trap that my generation readily fell into. Do not become simply members of a talking shop. Be the advocates of a new society, a society that is so badly needed in the 21st century. Be the risk takers that us, your teachers, continually talk about. Have the courage to live your dreams, but remember that dreams are not possible without air to breathe, food in your stomachs, and a world that realizes that its continuance on this planet cannot be sustained by keeping people under boot, economically, socially, or politically. You are recognized for your merits today, and for that I truly salute you. But seriously, I cannot wait to see and hear about the miraculous achievements that you will make in the future. Thank you, and congratulations.
Now is the time in our program where we have our graduation awards. Graduate, if you receive an award, please do come forward to accept it. I would now like to welcome Miss Betty Barr, class of 1949, who will be giving the Alumni Award for Service and Integrity, to come to the stage.
The SAS Pudong Alumni Award for Service and Integrity is presented to the student who, throughout their time at SAS, has demonstrated an ability to make a positive contribution to their community, either within the school or at a local, national, and global level. It says a great deal about our student body that this year we have not one, but two winners of this distinguished award. Our first winner is a mainstay of Pudong performing arts. A teacher of his has said, "He has done everything. He has managed to be in every single school production in high school. He teaches sign language and learns new languages. He is a lifelong learner who lives his dreams and inspires others to do the same. Easily the most inspiring person I have ever had the opportunity to engage with at a school or in my career. This special person even slips into the character of Buddy the Elf when grade school children are around." Our first award goes to Mr. Carlos Daniel R. Liang. Our second winner is a champion of journalism at SAS. A teacher of hers has said, "She has done a fantastic job developing the Pudong Press from a rarely published newspaper into a thriving online presence. Her enthusiasm and passion for informing her fellow students and teachers on a local level has empowered others to write and, in turn, discover a voice in the community. In the process, she has had to balance ethical concerns about subjective and objective reporting in the pursuit of fairness. To me, she exemplifies the steady pursuit of service in collaboration and engagement with others." Our second award goes to Ms. Grace Shinyu Deng.
The SAS Pudong Leadership Award is presented to a compassionate graduating senior who has been nominated by his or her fellow students as a leader, a trusted individual with purposeful vision that others are willing to follow. The winner of this award has been described by peers as super passionate, open, and hardworking. Her drive, will, and desire to succeed has been the engine of growth for many clubs and organizations in which she has been involved in over her high school career. The Pudong Leadership Award goes to Miss Adina Liang. The SAS Pudong Spirit Award is presented to a senior who has demonstrated through his or her extracurricular activities an attitude of enthusiasm and support for the greater good of the student body. This year's winner received a flood of nominations from her peers and has been described as central to school spirit and supporting all the endeavors in which students are engaged. She is bright, positive, and fun. This year's Pudong Spirit Award goes to Miss Mimi Kuo. The SAS Pudong Academic Excellence Award celebrates and acknowledges the fact that Shanghai American School is a school in which intellectual curiosity and personal motivation thrive, and students are actively engaged in the learning process. This year's winner has been described by one teacher as the most brilliant student he has encountered in 25 years. She also received the most, by far, nominations from any student, but she is humble and avoids the spotlight while unknowingly letting her brilliance shine in every classroom. This year's Pudong Academic Excellence Award goes to Miss Kiki Huang. The SAS Pudong Eagle Award is presented to an outstanding student or students that contributed to enriching the SAS environment in which each of the 4 academic areas of excellence, represented by the other 4 awards: Spirit, Leadership, Academic Excellence, and Integrity in Service. This year we have 2 Eagle Award winners. We have been giving this award for 12 years now. To give you some perspective, past winners are now studying oncology and conquering the world of finance. One Eagle has graduated from West Point and is serving his country first as a platoon leader and now as a captain in the 1st Armored Division, and he is a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. Another Eagle has teamed up with graduates to create a biomedical device to enhance women's health. Another Eagle is currently studying the effects of genetics on child development and cognition and has published a textbook chapter on the neuroscience behind facial expressions. And she is working and finishing her PhD at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana in clinical psychology. Our most recent Eagle is attending Williams, and this summer will be interning at the Office of the New York State Attorney General. Our first Eagle Award winner is a fixture of ethical, humble leadership at SAS, whether serving as Secretary General of MUN or serving as President of the English Service Project. She undertakes the scheduling of 40-plus students who teach English and quietly serves as an executive of many other clubs. Of herself, she has said, "When asked about my high school experience, I will respond with pride that I was educated to embody the characteristics of intellectual vitality, leadership, and integrity, to face the world with the bravery and ambition of an eagle." Our first Eagle Award winner is Miss Tiffany Shuyi Chan. Our second Eagle Award winner has been a tireless servant of the community in Pudong and in Shanghai. Through service outreach, but also in his own high school as a member of Stress Zero, he quietly serves as a peer counselor and has also selflessly worked for years in the English Service Project, helping our working staff learn English. The goal of his service, as he has said himself, is both simple and complicated. I wanted to make sure our school can be more comfortable sharing issues with each other and finding solutions to those issues together. Our second Eagle Award winner is Mr. Byung-kyu Colin Jun. It is now time for the awarding of diplomas. I would invite dignitaries to the stage, and I will cede the podium to my wonderful friend and colleague, Mrs. Kate Price.
Script starting here. Oh, I think I'm tall.
Do you need the podium?
I don't think so. Feeling good. At this time, we will commence with the awarding of diplomas to our graduating seniors. Principal Benjamin Lee, SAS Board Chair Mr. Dan Starda, Head of School Marcel Gauthier, and Deputy Head of School Miss Emily Sargent Beasley will join me in the awarding of the diplomas. An SAS tradition celebrating our professional school community is that when the son or daughter of an SAS faculty member or SAS board member graduates, their parents are invited to present them with their diplomas. We have a number of faculty parents with us today. As the children of faculty members are called, their parents may come up and present the diploma. Lamis Awazani. Hee-Kyung Jenny Back. Noam Balan. Brenneman Kate Beasley. Shireen Bond. Sonova Bell Blotman. Amber Brookmans. William Francis Melville Buckridge. Hanwin Sao. Jade Eileen Flavie Cardo. Ocean Pascal Louis Cardo. Joey Etong Chen. Tiffany Shui Chan. Victor Tong Chong. Yuen Xiang Andrew Chong. Chelsea Forrest Chen. Catherine Jo Chen. Kelvin Elong Chen. Michael Hong Chen. Sung Yuan Charles Chen. Andrew Duhao Chang. Anson Minghen Chirk. Brent Brian Kalong Chung. Kaki Kelly Chick. Hing Wai Chloe Choi. Young K Chow. Rebecca Kate Christensen. Edward Chuang Yichen. Beverly Pei Chung. Evan Michael Darwick. Grace Shinyu Dong. Graham Thomas Devereaux. Angela Fan. Isabella Manu Fisher. Kristen Fu. Charles Gerd Glaser. Cynthia Yun Gu. Mark Enzo Hartono. Eli Lewis Hope. Kiki Shushi Huang. Chung Xuan Shan Jan. Chanmin Jian. Rena Ling Jiang. Mindian Jin. Biancu Colin Jun. Woojin Owen Jung. Jason Kong. Min Jae Kong. Hyungyu Kim. Ji Hyuk Danny Kim. Ki Wook Kim. Min Jun Kim. Wang Ku Paul Kim. Lucas Philip Krieger. Mimi Wenchen Kuo. Carlos Daniel R. Lau. Andrew Lau. Ji-ho Lee. Jun-hyung Lee. Michael Christopher Lee. Wan Young Lee. Hawan Lee. Lyndon Sky Lee. Adina Liang. Jeffrey Hungan Lin. Jeffrey Max Lin. Sonia Liu. Y. Isabel Louis. Gordon Yuan Ning Ma. Jasmine Jensen Majid. Sabrina Jiai Meng. Devin Merchandani. Daniel Navarro. Soo Hyuk Oh. Junsu Mike Park. Junyo Eric Park. Jun Hyuk Park. Hannah Siobhan Power. Abigail Naomi Prabati. Ziyu Chiang. Yohanatan Haim Rahamim. David Alexander Ramirez. Sophie Ann Ragowi. Ho-Jin Liu. Anakith Salagrama. Fabio Perez Schneider. Stephen Sean Shi. Jung Hu Shim. Jiwon Shin. Kenneth Bongyu Shu. Max Anthony Kwan Su. Ryan Wesley Strong. Caitlin Su. Christabella Wanting Tan. Grace Wanrong Tan. Marcus Tan Hao Ping. Daniel Jiahui Tong. Xingtian Donna Tsai. Lily Van Horzen. Alec Velum Van Oosenen. Archana Vela Udapale. Jianan Christopher Wong. Stanley Junwin Wong. William Z. Wong. Naomi Watanabe. Maxime Wilmette. Seon Wan. Evelyn Wai Chung Wong. Alexander Jong Wu. Jessica Vivi Wu. Aaron Jonathan Shu. Isaac Luba Shu. Jason Guangxin Shu. Zhenghe Xuan. Sophia Ching Yi. Audrey Winhan Yin. Jin Han Yu. Samantha Ann Young. Hong Yu. Andrew Anthony Yuan. Sean Alex Yuan. Yuchi Jill Jung. Michelle Yutian Zhou. And Jeremy J.Z. Zhou.
It's my great pleasure now, formally, to present the class of 2019 to you, our SAS community, as they move from being SAS students to being SAS alumni. The chair of our Board of Trustees, Dan Starta, will accept them on behalf of our community, symbolizing their new role and status, and signifying that they are no longer students. They will move the tassel of their mortarboard from the right to the left side. This is a century, not yet. This is a centuries-old tradition that marks the exact moment of graduation, the end of childhood, and the beginning of an independent young adulthood. Seniors, please rise. Members of the Shanghai American School community, parents, Board Chair, Mr. Starta, members of the board, Mr. Gautier, alumni, faculty, students, and honored guests, I now present to you the Shanghai American School Pudong campus graduating class of 2019. Mr. Starta, on behalf of the faculty of Shanghai American School Pudong High School, I certify that the class of 2019 has satisfied the requirements for graduation. Will you accept this class? Yes.
Graduates, I mean, today you've reached a milestone, and we're all here to salute you, but also to celebrate with you. You're here today because of your own hard work, but you're also here because of the teachers that you have, the parents, the support that you have from each of us and from the community. They share in your accomplishment and deserve our thanks as well, too. I know that SAS has prepared you for the challenges and the opportunities ahead. On behalf of the Board of Trustees for Shanghai American School, it is my honor to accept the class of 2019 as graduates of Shanghai American School. Congratulations.
Hold on. Class of 2019, the SAS Pudong community, which has come to honor you, now sends you out as graduates of SAS. You may now move your tassel. Congratulations to the class of 2019.